By default, when you install Fedora 13 on your computer, you will have the GNOME desktop interface. And what we're going to do in this snippet is actually look at installing the KDE desktop interface onto our computer. So to begin with, there's two different ways to do this. I'm going to show you the graphical user interface method of installing this package, as well as showing you guys the command line interface to install this package. So you just need to choose one of these options depending on which you feel more comfortable with. I'm going to go ahead and start here with the add remove software package or software tool we've got. I'm going to click on package collections, and if you look down here where the arrow is, it says it's starting. It will say querying, and then it's going to go ahead and load the packages that we can choose to either install on our computer, or we can see the ones that are currently installed on our computer, and we can also remove them from our computer as well. Now while that's loading up, I'm going to also go ahead and open up the terminal. Some people may choose to decide this through the terminal itself, so I'll go ahead and bring the terminal up as well so we can kind of see both ways of installing this software. And I'm going to go ahead and readjust this window. And those packages look like they're loaded up now. So I'm going to go ahead and come back here to the add remove software and scroll down. And as I scroll down, what I'm looking for is a package called KDE. And let's go down a little bit farther here. There it is, software compilation. If I place a check mark here, which I can go ahead and do, and hit the apply, it's going to go ahead and go through and want to install it. Now I will give you a heads up here, it's going to take quite a while to install the software package on your computer. More than an hour. It may take more than maybe 2 or 3 hours to install this, so make sure you've got plenty of time to do this if you want to install the actual package itself. And what it does is this is going to actually go through and install the KDE software compilation. It's going to also look for other software applications that need to be installed with it. So it may download quite a bit more than what you see here. It says 160 megabytes. It may end up being a little bit more than that when you're going to download that. If you look here, it does say it's resolving dependencies. It's trying to find what needs to be installed here on our computer. While that's working, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to move over here to the command line. And what I need to do first, if I was to do this installation in the command line, I need to have root privileges. So I need to switch over to the root user, which is the su command. And I go ahead and hit enter, and you would need to type in the password for the root user on this operating system. And once you've logged in as root, and I can see right here I'm logged in as root, what I would need to do is I would need to actually type in this command here, which is yum group install, and then in parentheses the KDE software compilation. Now as you notice, this is the same package that I have right here. It's your choice whether you want to install this in the command line interface or if you want to install it in the GUI. And this is going through right now, and it will come up with a menu here in a moment that's going to ask me if I want to install the following software. And if I choose yes, it will ask me for the root password here in the graphical user interface. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here and cancel out of this, and we're going to work with, while that's canceling out, I'll move this up here. We're going to work with the actual command line interface, and I'm going to give myself a little bit more room here to work with. And so once you've got that typed in to the command line interface, go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and start building the package. It may take a minute or two, and it's going to go through, as you see this, and it's going to take some information and then try to find out some of the dependencies that may need to be installed in your operating system before the whole KDE package can be installed. And as the package is running, once it's determined what packages need to be installed or updated on your computer in order for this to work, you're going to be presented with this option. It's going to tell you here's my total download, and on my computer at the moment I have 348 megabytes worth of download. I get to say whether this is yes or no. If I choose no, it will not install this package. If I choose yes, hit enter, it's going to go ahead and begin installing the package, and as you see through here, it's going to take quite a while to do this. It will continue to update my package until it's installed. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and wait for this to finish, and I'll let you know how long it takes. After about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we received an error here on the install. It said package manager error details, yum is locked by another application. The reason why we're getting this is because we do have Yum working while we were in the terminal. We called Yum to actually install the KDE package. So you may get this at the moment. You can just ignore this error and continue with the install. After about an hour and 10 minutes, I finally completed the installation of the KDE desktop interface. So now what I'll do is I'll turn off the terminal, and I'm going to look at installing, or actually just restarting the computer and going to the login screen. So this is the GNOME desktop at the moment, and we're going to restart the computer and we're going to choose the KDE desktop. Once your computer is restarted, what we're going to do is click on the username to log in, and you're going to notice down here at the bottom, once we've selected the user, I'm going to go ahead and just type the password in. I'm not going to hit enter yet, but I've got the password in. Then here at the bottom you can see that you've got language, keyboard, and then the session. By the default, GNOME is selected. That is the default desktop interface to work with, but we're going to go ahead and choose the KDE this time, and it's going to go ahead and hit login, and it's going to go ahead and log in using the KDE desktop. Now it may take an extra few moments here to set up the desktop. It did take a little bit longer to actually start the computer, as I had to configure some of the things for the KDE desktop. We're going to go ahead and let this log in and let it load up all the way, so we've got the entire KDE desktop. And after a few moments after logging in, the KDE desktop has been loaded up, and now we can see what it looks like. And you can see this does look quite a bit different than the traditional GNOME desktop that you see in Fedora. Down here is the beginning or launcher for us here, and if you take a look, we've got a different menu than we've had in the GNOME, and it's still the same operating system. I still have the same files on my computer. The only difference is I've got a different interface and how I actually work with my operating system here in the GUI. So this is the installation of the KDE desktop interface on Fedora 13.